President Obama just announced last hour his pick for Attorney General Loretta Lynch, the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of New York. So let's bring in our legal guys. Avery Friedman, a civil rights attorney and law professor in Cleveland, and Richard Herman, a New York criminal defense attorney and law professor, joining us now from Las Vegas. So great to have you both with us. I can't wait to hear what your take on President Obama's nominee is. And I want to start with you, Avery, given your background in civil rights. I think the big question with Laura Lynch potentially taking over the helm at the Justice Department is how she's going to handle the case in Ferguson, the big case on whether Darren Wilson, the officer, violated Michael Brown's civil rights. What do you think, what kinds of challenges do you think await her in that?
Well, Pamela, there'll be no difference in what we've seen coming from Eric Holder. The fact is that 4 days after the election, the president makes this nomination the least controversial, the least unexpected nomination. She's wonderfully credentialed, spectacularly credentialed. She is non-controversial. And look, the president, Pamela, gets nothing without the advice and consent of the Senate, and we're going to have a brand new Senate. So the way I see this thing on the civil rights issue on Ferguson, there will be no difference. And I think unless she screws up at the confirmation hearing, you have a brand new Attorney General in Loretta Lynch.
Wow. Okay, Richard, I want to go to you. And Loretta Lynch, she is a career prosecutor. She's been confirmed twice by the Senate to become the U.S. Attorney in the Eastern District of New York. She's seen as low profile, more workhorse than show horse, very different from the other U.S. Attorney in New York in the Southern District. And the fact that, you know, he's been on the cover of magazines, but she has really kept her profile pretty low. How do you think this could work in her favor as far as being confirmed, the fact that she is sort of a Washington outsider?
Exactly. I think it's going to work to her benefit. There's not a lot of damage out there that people can drum up. I mean, she was a two-time approved. She was approved by a voice vote only in 2010. As Avery said, she's wonderfully credentialed. She follows in the footsteps of Honorable Michael Mukasey out of New York. She is a historic nomination by the president. I think the Senate will pass her swiftly. It'd be good if it happens in January, because with respect to Ferguson, I do not believe there's going to be an indictment in that case against him, and there is no viable means to bring a civil rights case. So that if she's going to address that, that will be a challenge for her. But as the previous reporter told you in your conversation with him, her biggest challenge will be with the lame duck presidency and President Obama trying to get close to the border on his powers, what he can do, what he can't do, with the approval of Senate and Congress or without their approval. I think that's going to be her test as a Attorney General. But again, she's from the Eastern District of New York, which covers Brooklyn and Long Island. Her cases have been predominantly organized crime with financial fraud and some terrorism cases. We have found her from my office. I've had many cases with the Eastern District that she is fair and consistent, and that's what you're looking for.
And we'll see what the Senate Judiciary Committee does. That will be the first vote, Pamela, and then ultimately it goes to the entire Senate.
All right. You know, I was talking to someone on the phone who actually worked with her. He said, sort of going along with what you were saying, Richard, that she's someone who you feel like she's listening to you, that your voice is being heard. And I think that is certainly someone that we want to take over the role of Attorney General. Richard and Avery, thank you so much for coming on with us this hour for all of our legal news. We appreciate it.